You are listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about Georgia. So, Lauren,
Yes, Kenzie.
let's get scary.
So when we were driving down to North Carolina, Mom and I, for a trip,
Mhm.
I was telling her about that, the, atomic bomb or whatever that was in North Carolina ground
Oh,
that they
yeah.
haven't, gotten yet. And she was like, I don't like that. And I was like, yeah, I don't either.
The more you know.
I know. Oh, and a place right near us is haunted.
Of course it is.
So we were going to, okay. So it's called Fort Fisher. And it's like half a mile from where we were staying.
Mhm.
And it's like a battleground, like a national battleground kind of thing.
Yes.
And so she was like,
Those
ooh.
typically are haunted.
Yeah. She's like, are there any haunted areas around here? And I said, let me check. Fort Fisher. So apparently people hear like footsteps behind them when there's like no one else there, and they'll see soldiers and they'll hear like all the thingies. So we drove through, not at night. At night, that'd be way too terrifying. We drove through during the day. It's a very pretty place.
I'm sure.
But yeah, didn't see anything scary. And then, we went to the aquarium and we saw the otters,
Oh, so cute.
which is also at Fort Fisher. It was a very,
Ah.
very nice aquarium.
Interesting.
It was only like $15.
Oh,
And so when you
okay.
think about like the aquarium in Baltimore where it's like,
40.
oh my God, so expensive.
Yeah.
Mom and I thought it was going to be like a goldfish because it was like $15.
One
But
singular
no,
goldfish.
it was great. They had like sharks and turtles and a ton of fish, and then the otters and alligators. It was really cool.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
And then, this was another trip where we narrowly escaped a natural disaster.
Okay, that's a little dramatic. It did not even make landfall. Let's calm down.
Well, last year we had the tropical storm.
That one I will give you.
Terrifying. This year we had Hurricane Erin, but yeah, we didn't. Beautiful skies every day.
There was a concern for flooding for like maybe a couple hours.
Oh, but what was wild was, okay, so there was this guy, he was walking on the beach when Mom and I were there, and he had like a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, and his last name was on his shirt, and he was like looking at the ocean, and we were like, hey, who are you, pretty much? And so we're chatting with him, and he is part of a like storm chaser thing
Oh,
in that area. And
okay.
so he had like a huge like semi truck that was like, it had a hurricane design on it. So his thing is like
Interesting.
following hurricanes. And so
Sounds like a terrible idea.
he loves it.
I
So
can see that.
before the storm was supposed to hit, so it was
Mhm.
supposed to hit on like Wednesday.
Right.
It's like Monday or whatever.
Okay.
And where our condo was, where we were staying, it's on the ocean. Like you're in the waves.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of terrifying. But because like when the waves would hit, they would bounce off of these sandbags that were in front of it and smack against our window. And we were like,
That's not calming.
no. And we pulled like the shades, like the storm shades. It was wild.
Yeah.
But so anywho, we're talking to him on Monday and we're like, all right, we're your family now. You have to tell us all that you know. And we're like, should we be leaving? He goes, no, I can't say anything about an evacuation. He's like, what floor are you guys on? We're like the first. He goes, oh. And we're like, what does that mean? We were fine, but it was very scary. And seeing him like patrolling the beach and like talking into a walkie-talkie and putting up cameras, we're like, oh my God, what's happening?
Odd choice of employment.
Yeah.
But at least you knew from a professional that you were safe.
Well, he didn't make us feel very safe when we were like, we're on the first floor and he goes, oh.
Well, nothing good ever happens on the first floor.
No. But it was nice.
Yeah, that's good.
And
I'm glad it
then
was nice.
then the waves kept getting bigger and bigger, and that was kind of scary.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But it would be wild because you would look out the back deck,
Mhm.
huge waves coming up on the deck, kind of scary. And you'd walk out the front door and you're like, oh my God, blue skies, this beautiful beach weather. It was like a weird
It's
paradox.
like Armageddon
Yes.
or heaven, paradise.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, no, so we narrowly avoided the hurricane.
Narrowly.
But yeah, I think like you mentioned and like Mom and I were saying, we can't go to the beach anymore in August.
Mm-mm.
It has to be like late July, early August. We can't keep having these natural disasters.
Yeah, well, who knows? Knowing our luck, it is going to start in July.
Right. Hurricane season's
So-
going to move up
Mm-hmm.
right when I'm going to be at the beach.
Yeah. While you were relaxing, I was in pain.
Yeah, okay. So what exactly happened?
I was trying to put my shoes on. I was going to go meet some friends. I wanted to see if the shoes look good with my outfit.
As one does, yeah.
I was bent over to put the shoes on, and I kind of lost my balance a little bit. And so whatever way I caught myself, I twisted the fuck out of my back.
Ugh.
Like worst. I've done it quite a couple times. And I can usually get myself around. I couldn't. Like, my mom wanted me to lay down. I couldn't even get on the floor. I was like, "I cannot bend at all."
My god. Was it, like, your lower back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so we walked very, very slowly to my bed. I got really lightheaded. Like, I was like, Am I gonna pass out right now?"
Oh my god.
Get into the bed, and then now we have to I tried to sit, and it was like something shot up my back. I quite literally burst into tears.
Mackenzie!
I've never done that before where, typically you're just like, you're crying a little bit and it gets more and more and more. I burst into tears. I was like, it hurt so bad. And so we had to figure out how to swing my legs
Yeah.
to get me flat. So, we just kind of tried to get it done. But as she's turning me, I don't know, one way we did it, it was just so painful. Again, we started crying. And I was like, as if it wasn't my mom who wasn't actually trying to torture me, but I was like, please, please don't do it anymore. Like sobbing as if she's torturing me. Like she's
Please,
not.
I can't take it.
She's just helping me. I knew I had to tell my friends I can't go. And I was like, they're going to think I'm being dramatic. And so I texted them. I was like, I twist my back. I can't make it. Like, I can't go.
I am old. I am old and decrepit.
I figured there'd be some poking fun.
Of
'Cause
course. I mean,
what a lame excuse for a 30-year-old.
right. And are they really your friends if they don't make fun of you?
Right. And so after I was laying down flat, I was in the outfit. I was ready. My hair was done. My makeup was done. I was in the outfit that I was going to wear. I'm like laying on my bed and I like send them a selfie of me crying. I was like, no, guys, I really hurt myself.
Oh.
But they were already on the way. And so they were like, well, we'll just come hang out until we go. So they're sitting around my bed as if I'm about to die.
Right, like a dying patient.
And I'm like, this is so awkward and so embarrassing. But I was just like, look, see, I was ready.
I was gonna go.
I was planning on going. And so, yeah, they came and hung out for a little bit.
What good friends.
What good friends. Getting up to go to the bathroom again was torture.
Yeah.
I got up and immediately had to sit back down because I thought I was going to pass out. And it's like the ringing in your ears where it sounds like you're underwater.
Oh, yeah.
And like your vision is like whatever. And I was like, I don't understand. I ate. Like, why would I?
Right.
And I was like, trash can.
Did you throw up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. And then I went to the bathroom. I just had to pee. But that was a struggle. We ended up getting my mom's suitcase and using it as like a walker. It's like truly, I was like, if it's the same level, because typically, obviously, the first day is the worst, and then it gradually gets better.
Yeah.
I was like, if it is the same level tomorrow, we have to go to the emergency room because at that point, I could not do anything without my mother.
Good thing she was there.
Honestly, yeah, because when I was thinking about like when it first happened, how far away I was from my room, I don't know. I probably would have passed out before I could get there.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The next day, I was able to get up by myself, like get up physically.
Yeah.
I needed help sitting.
Jeez.
And then I pretty much laid on the couch and stayed in that position the whole time.
And hurting your back sucks.
It fucking
Because you can't do
sucks.
anything.
Nothing.
And then you don't feel like yourself because you can't do anything and you're just
Right.
in pain the whole time.
Exactly. 100%. But I will say, for how bad it was that first day, I really thought I was screwed for the weekend. My last weekend.
Yeah.
But Saturday felt like what it normally feels like when I typically twist my back and it's like the end of it.
Okay.
Like the big jump from needing help sitting down, needing
Right.
help doing this, that, to being able to walk with pretty much no pain. Like I took the dog out.
Oh.
And so I had to be careful.
Yeah.
It's not like I could go like running around.
Right.
I still had
Maybe
to
don't go on a trampoline or anything.
Right. I still squat to pick something up off the floor. But I was like, okay, at least I can go and hang out with my friends. So I did.
Well, good.
Yeah. So summer 2025 was just, we'll take the L on that one.
Yeah.
We'll try again next year.
That's how I feel about this summer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
Yeah. God.
I feel like I never wanted to go outside because it was so hot.
So freaking hot.
So, plus side mom's here, but
yeah. Yeah. That's the good part, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Georgia. In late September 1906, racial tensions in Atlanta reached a deadly climax. False newspaper reports of black men assaulting white women fueled white mobs, which descended upon black neighborhoods. Over 2 days, they killed at least 25 black residents, though some estimates suggest the number was much higher. Dozens more were injured, and black owned businesses were destroyed. This massacre was part of a larger wave of racial violence during the Jim Crow era. The aftermath spurred the rise of the NAACP and reinforced segregation laws that persisted for decades.
Yeah.
We were watching TV and mom put on like the History Channel. No, it was some other thing. But anywho, it was talking about like secret societies.
Mm.
And one of them that it was talking about was the KKK
Mm-hmm.
and how they're very prevalent in like South Carolina and parts of
Oh,
North
yeah.
Carolina. And mom and I were like, do we think they're nearby? And we learned, okay, they have this statue.
Okay.
And the statue has like one arm that can be detached. And if the statue's arm is on, that means it's only members there. And so you can talk about all your secret stuff. If the arm is not there, it means that there are some people who aren't members there. And so you can't talk about any of your secret stuff. But the arm is in the Hitler salute. Uh huh. And I was like, huh, look at those comparisons.
That's crazy.
Uh huh.
Well, because like they were around and then they kind of died down. But then, like, into the early 19th century, when like black people were trying to get rights and stuff,
Right.
they like sprang up again because they're like, no,
Yeah, because we were watching it and some of the people were like, we're just celebrating our white history and it's just our white roots. And that's what we're
that's
just supporting. It's like,
not true.
no,
That is
not
not.
at all.
If that was the case, you wouldn't torment people
Right.
and you wouldn't hide under hoods.
Uh huh.
Anything where you have to hide behind a face mask that
Uh huh.
not for surgery and medical reasons,
Right. Right.
that means what you're doing is wrong. And you know what you're doing is
Uh
wrong,
huh.
which is why you're hiding your face.
Yep. Yeah. But like all these people, because like the show was like, oh yeah, they allowed our cameras to go to like some of their like little meetings and stuff. And I'm like, these people are so like proud of the fact that this is what they do. And they're
Mhm.
like happily
I
showing their
know.
faces. And I'm like, do you not understand what you're doing?
No.
Like, how are you not feeling ashamed?
Because whatever is in their brains is not in probably, hopefully, majority of the population. There's something, and I can't wrap my head around it either.
God, yeah.
How can you think that way about another person
Yeah,
just by how they look? They haven't done anything.
right.
I am all for judging people based on what they do.
Yeah,
Believe you
100%.
me.
Yeah.
But to have that level of hatred where it's just
Based on how they look.
right,
Yeah.
you know nothing about them, but just their presence of being that person of color,
Mhm.
you like, even when I read about these like history things, and it's like how people, they were trying to suppress black people from, building up their communities and their businesses and getting
Right.
involved in politics and things like that. They did not want them to be, and they wanted to keep the white race superior.
Right.
And I'm just like, but they're people.
Right. Yeah.
And you were so threatened by a person,
Mhm.
or you felt elite above a person. And I know that was the time and not okay, but I understand that as a society, you're going to think the same way.
Right.
But now,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that level of hatred. How did you get there?
Yeah.
What is it, just so ingrained in you from the start because of family or whatever?
Probably.
Did something happen to you? But it's just like, I can't, it's so hard for me to fathom that another human being would just be so awful
Yeah.
and not see anything wrong with it.
Well,
Crazy. Thank God we didn't live back then. But yeah, technically, back then, we didn't even have rights.
right.
So
We're gonna get back there though.
I'm sure eventually, yeah, with the path that we're going on. But as of right now,
Right now.
I wouldn't want to be around back then.
Yes. Ugh. In 1912, two white women were assaulted in Forsyth County, one fatally. Although guilt was never conclusively proven, two black men were swiftly convicted, one after a rush trial. The real tragedy came after white residents organized terror campaigns against the black community, issuing threats, destroying property, and committing violence. Over 1,000 black residents were forced to flee the county, abandoning homes and businesses. Decades later, much of this land was flooded during the creation of Lake Lanier, further erasing the community's history.
So,
Are they the community that's under Lake Lanier?
yeah,
Oh.
which we'll get to later. Or at least it's rumored.
Yeah.
So the lynching, well, the assault was really kind of like the catalyst of everything, and it was actually like, it was a few more people just by association, they were
Mhm.
arrested. They even arrested a Black woman and saying that, she held the lantern. Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
And so this huge mob comes into town. One of the doctors in the area was like, "You can use my land for lynching. You can, whatever." It says that the sheriff and the police tried to like or like the governor, whatever, tried to calm shit down, but
Sure.
obviously it didn't work. And so, yeah, they like tormented them. So then they started raiding places. It wasn't just about hurting this person that they perceived to have hurt somebody else,
Right.
it was hurting everybody. So, yeah, so they were pushed out or chased out, really.
Chased out, yeah.
Yeah.
On July 25th, 1946, two African American couples, George and May Murray Dorsey and Roger and Dorothy Malcolm, were dragged from a car near Moore's Ford Bridge in Walton County and shot multiple times by a white mob. This gruesome act is considered the last mass lynching in America. The case gained national attention, prompting President Truman to order a federal investigation. Despite interviews with hundreds of suspects, no one was ever charged, underscoring the culture of impunity surrounding racial violence in the South.
Oh, no, it's further down. Okay, never mind. But what I will say about this one, when I was reading it, it said that Georgia had the second most lynchings in U.S. history behind Mississippi.
Hmm.
I cannot wait till we get to Mississippi.
Oof. Lena Baker was an African American maid who worked for a white man named Ernest Knight. She claimed he held her against her will, repeatedly abusing her. In 1944, during a violent altercation, Baker shot Knight in self defense. Despite her pleas, she was convicted by an all white, all male jury and executed in 1945, the only woman ever executed by electrocution in Georgia. In 2005, 60 years later, the Georgia Board of Pardons and Paroles granted her a full posthumous, that's how you pronounce
I
it?
think so.
A full
Your
posthumous
mom will let you know
pardon.
whether or not you did it right.
She will. Acknowledging the injustice of her case. I don't think that's a jury of your peers if
No,
they're all white, all male.
absolutely. So what was crazy about this one is so like leading up to this, she's like trying to tell people that this is what's going on. Like she's being held against her will. It's essentially, two steps away from slavery.
Right.
And it was said obviously, he repeatedly abused her and like sexually assaulted her. And I guess like his son and somebody else like came in and told her they didn't like the relationship. So they told her to stay away.
Right,
And
because
I'm
it's
like,
her fault.
wait a minute here. And so, of course, similarly to how we do now, like no one believed that it wasn't consensual.
Right.
They tried to look at it as a relationship, but
Mhm.
it was a forced relationship.
Yeah, so it's not a relationship.
Correct. So I just thought that was crazy. I was like, wait, I had to reread the sentence. I was like, wait, you want her to go? She's
Mhm.
not doing anything.
Right.
So,
And she's not able to leave.
right.
Austin Calloway, a 16-year-old black teenager in LaGrange, Georgia, was accused of assaulting a white woman. On September 8th, 1940, a group of masked white men broke into the jail, kidnapped Calloway, and lynched him on a rural road. No one was ever prosecuted. In 2017, LaGrange's police chief publicly apologized for the department's failure to protect him, the first known case of a law enforcement agency apologizing for inaction during a lynching. This case became a pivotal example in the NAACP's anti-lynching
I
campaign.
think this is the only one in Georgia
What do you mean?
that was acknowledged as like a failure by the police
Oh,
and things like that. Like, not compensation, but like, I thought it started with a C. I don't know. Doing things to acknowledge what was done in the past.
mm,
I forget. There's a word for
yeah,
it.
there is, and I can't think of it
what it
either.
is. But I think this was the only time in Georgia and the only one we know of in Georgia where the police chief like publicly apologized and things like that.
Wow.
It actually turned out because there was so little investigated about this case, they didn't know if he was 16, they didn't know if he was 18, they didn't know if he was 24.
Oh, wow.
Eventually, because people actually started looking into it and researching it and things like that, it was determined that he was most likely 24 years old.
Oh, wow.
Still young,
Still young.
still
Awful.
awful and unwarranted. So, but yeah, I think I know it was a big deal because obviously it's the first like law enforcement is apologizing,
Right.
but I'm pretty sure it's the only one in Georgia
Hmm.
so far.
In May of 1803, approximately 75 Igbo captives were transported aboard a slave ship
Chipped.
aboard a slave ship to Georgia's coast after surviving the brutal Middle Passage. When they realized they were to be enslaved on nearby plantations, they revolted, killing their captors and guiding the ship to Dunbar Creek on St. Simons Island. Instead of submitting to slavery, the captives walked into the water, committing mass suicide. Though some were recaptured, this act of resistance became legendary in African American folklore, inspiring stories of freedom and defiance like the Flying Africans myth.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. There was, like, one account that they found from this woman who lived on some plantation that was on the water or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, so I think she saw it, and if I read it correctly, it sounded like she helped get the bodies out of the water,
Ugh.
but, yeah, they would I mean, obviously, doesn't make sense to me, they would rather die than go into slavery,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what they did.
But like someone tried to say slavery's not that bad.
Well, then he can try it.
Right, that's what I thought too. Like,
Put your money where your mouth
yep,
is. Not that bad, then you can do it.
right. Oh my God, that makes me so mad. On March 2nd to 3rd, 1859, at the 10 Browick Racecourse in Savannah, the largest recorded slave auction in U.S. history took place. To settle his debts, Pierce Butler sold 463 men, women.
36.
Wow. Sold 436 men, women, and children. Torrential rain fell during the auction, later called the weeping time, as enslaved families were separated and sold to different buyers. This event symbolizes the cruelty of the slave economy in the South. Today, historical markers and preservation efforts seek to honor the memory of those torn apart during these days.
So, before he had the auction, his family's, like, plantation was left to him when his dad died.
Mm-hmm.
He blundered it, spent a lot of money, put them in debt. So, the trustees gave it to his brother.
Okay.
And so then what they ended up doing is they had to split their enslaved people in half.
Ugh.
So, one brother got 450 and the other one got 450.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the brother ended up, like, keeping all of his, I don't know. And then I think the Pierce guy only kept some,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So apparently they made, like, at the time, what would be like, at the time they made, like, over $300,000.
What would that be in today's money?
I don't know because it doesn't go back that far.
Right, it doesn't.
So
But
a
a lot.
boatload.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fuck ton of money. So I think, like, most people were about a little over $1,000.
Whew.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
sad.
Yeah. Constructed in the 1950s by damming the Chattahoochee River, Lake Lanier was intended to provide hydroelectric power and water supply. However, its creation submerged entire communities, including Oscarville and countless family cemeteries.
So that was the one mentioned before,
Right.
where they got, like, kind of pushed out of there
Mhm.
from by the white people.
Right.
Yeah.
Remains and structures often weren't properly relocated. Over time, the lake developed an eerie reputation due to a high number of drownings, over 500 between 1994 and 2020, fueling local legends of hauntings tied to its submerged past. Some divers report encountering intact buildings and debris, reinforcing its ghostly lore. You can hear more about Lake Lanier in our first Georgia episode number 7.
I know, it was so early.
I know.
So early in the game.
Yeah, Lake Lanier is creepy.
Yeah, man.
I've heard a lot of things about it.
Yeah, and people can hear more about it on
Yeah, episode 7.
on episode 7, our first Georgia episode. So, I mean, I feel like I see a very repetitious pattern
I
in these
know.
state facts.
It's all so bad.
Well, since they want to water down history and things like that, I guess it'll be up to us
It'll be up to us to keep talking about the dark history.
and what is actually and what actually happened and not the watered down version.
Yep.
Keeping those who need to be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
What's spooky tea upon, Lauren?
So today I am going to tell you about an odd thing in Georgia. And that
Okay.
will be, because I thought I was going to do more than one thing, but then
Mm.
this thing ended up being just long enough that I didn't have to do another
I
thing.
love that.
So this is the cursed pillar of Augusta.
The cursed pillar?
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming you'll explain what kind of pillar.
Not like Georgianic. What are the pillar types?
Like Roman?
It's just a pillar. It's not fancy.
It's not like the one that holds up, like, the Parthenon and stuff.
No.
Those pillars.
No, it's not that
Okay.
fancy. As all curses do, they begin a while ago, and this one is no exception. This one dates back to the 1800s. And also, like all curses, some believe in the pillar's curse, while some believe it's a load of hogwash.
Hogwash.
Augusta dates back to 1736, founded as part of the larger British colonization of the Americas.
Oh, you said 17. For 2 seconds, I was thinking 1336, and I was like, "What?"
No. Augusta got its name after Princess Augusta, wife of Frederick, Prince of Wales.
Lovely.
So, fun fact about Augusta, it is known for hosting the Masters Gold Tournament each year. Golf.
Ooh.
Yep. Built around 1830, there was a market constructed in Augusta. The market consisted of 2 buildings, each of which were 200 feet long by 100 feet wide. Agricultural goods were sold and traded here. At some point in the 1870s, evangelist an evangelist preacher came to the town, and as they do, he wanted to preach.
Thank you for clarifying.
Of course. The place that he picked where he wanted to preach was at the corner near a market. The market.
The market.
It is known for sure why this.
It was what?
It is unknown for sure. I know. It is unknown for sure why he wanted to preach here, but he wanted to preach here, and it is also unknown for sure, but he was denied. Maybe he was
Like why
denied.
he was denied.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah. Maybe it was because he was being too loud and no one could hear others in the market.
That's fair.
Yeah. Maybe it was because he was calling everyone a dirty sinner. Either
Again.
way,
Completely fair.
he was denied.
I wish, I get it. Religious freedom, First Amendment, blah, 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 blah. But sometimes I really wish we could just knock those guys off of
Yep.
wherever the fuck they're standing.
Oh, 100%. So this infuriated the preacher, being denied, and he declared that a great wind.
What? You mean an evangelist, whatever? I can't say it either.
Evangelist. There we go.
Evangelist, preacher, white man was mad that he got told no?
He didn't get his way?
What?
Oh.
Shocked. Ow.
That was him coming back hurting you. He declared that a great wind would destroy the entire town, all except one pillar, the one he wanted to preach by.
Oh.
He went on to say that whoever tried to remove the pillar or even just touched it would be cursed and even struck dead.
What? Talk about wishing an inconvenience on someone.
I know.
It doesn't really hurt anybody.
Well, it could.
Well, I guess the whole other rest of the market is knocked down. Yeah, that part kind of sucks. But for the future, those people, and it's just a pillar, you just can't take it down, which is just really just an inconvenience.
Oh, that part. I thought you meant the
Yeah.
inconvenience was oh, it's not hurting anyone, but if you touch it, you could die. That kind of could hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, So as these legends and curses go, a freak tornado did come through the town, or a great wind. Mm-hmm.
I feel like a hurricane would make more sense.
A tornado for a great wind? A tornado is just wind.
Tornadoes happen in Georgia?
Well, see, hold on. So this tornado happened on February 7th, 1878. It was a rare winter tornado.
Okay.
Because first off, tornadoes don't really happen in February, and tornadoes don't really happen in Georgia. But it was weird because it happened after the preacher said a great wind would come through.
Did it actually happen?
Yeah.
There's weather records?
I don't know. I found the actual date on multiple websites.
So everyone agrees that this is probably when it happened.
Mhm.
But we haven't decided for sure there was
I didn't look on weatherchannel.com or whatever. I didn't go that far.
Okay.
Anywho, it rampaged through Augusta. The tornado completely destroyed the market. Timbers were broken, bricks were toppled, the market was completely annihilated. But so everything was annihilated except the pillar. Two people.
One singular pillar.
The one singular pillar that he said would not be destroyed.
Was this pillar at the time holding something up, or
I think it was
just
part of
there?
the market.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't holding up
A roof.
Parthenon or anything, but it was
Right.
holding up part of a market.
Got it.
Sadly, 2 people were also killed in the storm.
That's unfortunate.
But there is another version of the story, one I only heard on one website,
Okay.
or maybe 2. I can't remember. I read a lot. So this theory goes that the market sold slaves, which, contrary to what some people say, was really bad.
Oh, just what? Who's saying? Yes. Okay. Sorry.
The slaves would be tied to a pillar and whipped all before being sold. One of those slaves put a voodoo.
This story already checks out to me a lot more than the other one.
Yeah, right. So one of these slaves is said to have put a voodoo curse on the pillar where
Okay.
whoever touched it or tried to move it would be struck dead. The pillar, obviously, that they were whipped on. But this whole slave thing does have some basis in history and may very well have been a thing at this market in Augusta.
Might have been included with the other agricultural,
Yes.
I say with quotes.
Yep. Yeah. So it had been mentioned in some books and such that do suggest that the pillar may have possibly been a part of the slave trading platform,
Jesus.
which we know is a thing from how much we read in our state facts.
It's a true historical fact
Yes.
that this is what most likely occurred.
Yeah. Yep.
So getting it knocked down,
Not awful.
if the it was a voodoo curse. If it's the other guy's curse, then fuck that guy.
So the pillar stands near the remains of a farmer's market, the market,
Yeah.
that once stood at 5th and Broad Street in downtown Augusta. Throughout the time that the pillar had stood, there have been those who have tried to move it, and those who have tried to move it have faced some bad consequences. It is said that a young man hooked up his tractor to the pillar in an attempt to move it, but it wouldn't budge. Then, in the course of just 1 week, the young man aged, grayed, and died of old age.
Did he now?
Apparently.
So an accelerated version of himself.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
The original column was actually moved to the opposite corner of what is now 5th Street, and it was then used to display advertisements by Theodore I's Broad Street Grocery. So they moved the pillar to the other side of the road,
Mhm.
and then this guy started using it for his advertisements. And
Is
that,
that where it stayed?
and that is where it has remained for over 100 years.
So that was okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe because it wasn't removed.
Like from the
It
area.
was moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's where it remained until 1931.
Oh,
That year, Will Jennings, the mayor of Augusta, wanted more tourism to come to the area to help stimulate the economy.
sure.
So he hired a press agent to spread the word of the curse, hoping this would draw in people who wanted to look at the cursed pillar. He even gave a budget of $37,500 to $50,000 to create and publish an advertising campaign that would bring in tourism to the city, with a big focus on the cursed pillar. I did not look at how much that would be in today's time, but it's going to be a lot of money. So the press agent published a ghost story about the pillar that went out in newspapers all across the country. I am actually unsure what happened in regards to tourism because nothing told me after that if it actually
We
worked.
don't know if it worked.
No idea, but the information went out.
Yeah.
In 1935, an out-of-control car hit and destroyed the pillar.
Oh.
Shockingly, the man was unhurt and the pillar was just rebuilt.
Okay. You had an opportunity here. The car crashed into it and broke it. But yeah, you put it back together?
Yep.
That seems like a dumb thing. That to me says the tourism shit was working. And so they
Maybe.
rebuilt it so that they could
They're
still
like, we need it
come."
to be here. Over the years, the city has tried to move or remove the pillar, but that only gave more credence to the cursed pillar rumor. But with that came accounts of highway workers being struck by lightning bolts, freak machinery accidents occurring after a worker tried to move the pillar, or even those workers just dropping dead.
See, I could see the car crash being acceptable to the curse because it was an accident.
Yeah,
It's not
you
like it
weren't like
wasn't deliberate.
purposely trying to
So
do it.
you had an out, man.
Oh. Another story talks about a bulldozer operator who suddenly died of a heart attack just as he was beginning to move the column.
Timing.
Then on Friday, June 13th, Friday the 13th, 1958, the pillar was again hit by an out-of-control driver. It toppled over and was destroyed, but again, the driver was not injured and the pillar was rebuilt.
Okay, you know that joke where the guy is drowning and he prays to God to save him, and the first boat comes, he said, "No, God will save me." Second boat comes, "No, God will save me." Third boat comes, "No, God will save me." And then he drowns and he's like, "God, why didn't you save me?" And he's like, "I sent you 3 fucking boats." This is the exact same version, but a fucking pillar.
Yup. This time, it was built 8 feet from its original location, further from the curb.
Okay, I can appreciate that they are rebuilding, but trying to avoid the problem in the future.
Today, some people who don't believe in the curse have touched the pillar, leaned against it, or even wrapped their arms around it, while others will avoid it altogether, preferring to take pictures from afar.
Did we know what happened to those people? Probably nothing.
Maybe, or we just don't know because they died. Sadly, on December 17th, 2016, yet again, the pillar was hit by an out-of-control car, this time by a Ford Taurus. The pillar was, again, destroyed.
Was the person okay?
The driver, Corey Tyler, said that the pillar actually saved his life. If it hadn't been there, he said his car would have hit a building instead.
Did they put it back up?
I will come to it.
Okay.
It is believed with
Because
this.
this is now the 3rd fucking boat.
I know. It is believed with this the curse came to an end. Some residents breathed a sigh of relief that the pillar and the curse that goes along with it are gone, but others believe that something bad is coming, as the pillar shouldn't have been messed with in any capacity.
You know what's interesting? That was 2016, you said?
Mhm.
What happened in 2016? Although I doubt a lot of people in Georgia would consider that a bad thing, but
Yeah, no. That's probably not the state they're going to think that was something bad coming.
to us,
For other people, it was a bad time.
yes.
The city of Augusta has said that it would, again, rebuild the pillar, but they still haven't. Today, the remnants of the pillar are supposedly being stored in a city garage in an undisclosed location. Apparently, money has been set aside for the project and plans to build it have already been completed by an engineering company. The city administrator still needs to agree on a timeline. But at the same time, a private company wants to redevelop the area and rebuild the pillar as part of its project. So there are talks in the talks in the work of
Talks
people,
in the works. Talk.
right? Talks talks in the works. Talk in the works.
Yes. Talk in the works.
That sounds wrong. Talk in the works.
So does talks in the works.
And so does works in the talks. So whoever is
People were speaking about.
wanting to rebuild it. Today, only a bit of the base of the pillar exists, and it is accompanied by a sign that describes it. The sign says, quote, "The haunted pillar of the lower market. On this site stood the lower market. Fire destroyed an early structure in 1829. The rebuilt market, with its bell that could be heard throughout the city, was a center of agricultural and livestock trade."
Emphasis on the livestock.
Uh-huh. This one says, "A freakish cyclone blasted the structure in 1878, and local citizens moved the only column left standing to its present location at 5th and Broad Streets. According to local tradition, a wandering exhorter?
Exeter?
No,
Ex-hoarder, like a previous hoarder, someone who used to hoard things.
no, not hort.
Hort.
Ex-horter. An ex-hoarder is a person, often in a religious context, who strongly encourages, urges, and inspires others to action or spiritual growth. So a preacher.
Okay.
So, a wandering preacher predicted that anyone who pulled down the pillar would be struck dead by lightning. Although the city rebuilt the market, it no longer proved useful, and in 1891, the market was dismantled.
Hmm.
But its cursefulness may have been spent. Bill Prince, who runs Bill's Place Liquors, is right across the street from the column. He constantly sees people leaning against it, climbing it, and just touching it in general. He recalled one visitor to his liquor store who said that he would knock down the pillar. Bill said, quote, "He goes 2 doors over to the pawn shop and gets himself a sledgehammer. Then he goes over there and starts wailing on that column. I thought he was kidding at first, but the third time he hit it, I called the police." Apparently nothing happened to that man. I don't have too many firsthand stories of people who touched it, but that could be because they died.
I don't think that was Bill's point.
But on TripAdvisor, like you had with your things,
Stop.
yep, someone named 777 Jenya
Okay.
said that in the late 80s, they were a teenager. Using their car keys, this person's friend touched the pillar using the car keys.
Okay.
Then 2 hours later, the car started smoking and died.
No.
Though it may not be cursed anymore, some believe that it may still be a little haunted. There have been reports of orbs, disembodied voices, and shadows that have been seen lurking around the pillar. There have been sounds of, quote, "whispered conversations between phantoms and footsteps of invisible beings pacing alongside." People have reported strange chills and uneasy feelings as well. And the pillar seems to attract bad luck. In 1997, an AJC article noted that the local sheriff counted 11 traffic accidents over the course of 10 months that year at this intersection where the pillar stands.
Interesting.
That bad luck permeated so deeply that a group of people gathered to surround the pillar in an attempt to pray away the evil that clearly dwelt there.
Or it's in a really bad location
And
and
what
people
are
can't
the
fucking
other?
drive.
Maybe it is no longer cursed and the curse turned to bad luck instead. Or maybe all that is left is a haunting. But either way, that is the story of the cursed or not Pillar of Augusta.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
I thought so
I'm
too.
glad they finally got in the third boat.
There are some people who definitely went before 2016 and they like posted pictures on blogs and you can see them just like standing next to it. Like
Yeah,
no one's
because
touching it, they're just standing next
it's
to
one
it.
of those things that, like, we can sit here and talk shit. But if I go to Augusta and I see that pillar, I'm not going to touch it.
Right, I'm not going to touch it.
I'm not going to, because I would rather not touch it and be wrong than
Mhm.
touch it and be right.
Right. Or like all of those like creepy games. Like the
Yeah.
creepy games that we've covered before and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it probably won't work.
Correct.
Chances are it doesn't work.
100%.
But I don't want to try it and have it work.
Right. It's not worth the risk.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I don't want to be running from like a doll that I reanimated or whatever.
You don't have any dolls here.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, good story.
Thank
Very
you.
interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it looks like just your old before it was hit by the third boat. It looked just like a typical column, kind of like a little crumbly, a little deteriorated. You're like, that's not going to last very
trying
long.
to imagine what you mean by column. Do
Add
you mean
pictures.
like, okay, so You know how sometimes in houses it's like separated and there's like that pillar that like is between, a kitchen or a dining room?
No.
No, it's not like that.
Well, no. Okay, think of the Parthenon.
Okay.
Think of that pillar.
Yeah.
Pretend everything above it and below it is gone, it's just a pillar there, but
Oh,
not as fancy.
okay. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have like the lines through it.
No, they
So it's
didn't
just
they
a
didn't do anything nice to it.
Yeah.
It's just a pillar.
I wonder what classifies something as a pillar versus a pole.
That's not a pole, it's not like a metal pole.
Can
It's definitely a pillar. If you look at it, you're gonna be like, "That's pillar. That's a column."
What makes it not an obelisk?
Obelisk?
That.
Because it was attached to other things. An
Oh.
obelisk is like the monument in DC. That's technically an obelisk.
Which monument?
The pencil.
Okay. There's so many monuments. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
the
there's more
pencil.
memorials than monuments.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The pictures will be added to our Instagram so you
Pillar-
and others can see it.
pillar-esque.
Pillar-esque.
Is it like chopped off at the top?
Yeah,
So it looks like a giant piece of chalk is what I'm imagining.
kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not as fancy as like how chalk would look. Chalk's too white.
So like a gray.
Yeah, yeah.
Gray
Like
chalk.
a gray piece of chalk.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
chalk that like rolled under your desk and you found it at the end of the year.
Picking up what you're throwing down. I hate chalk.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
I can't. I can do chalk if they're writing on like the sidewalk. I cannot do chalk writing on the chalkboard.
How often do you have to do chalk on the chalkboard?
Never. 'Cause
Oh,
we
okay.
have whiteboards.
Exactly. I was going to say, I think that's a thing of the past.
Yes. Well, it was a thing at my last school,
Oh.
but I never wrote on it. I just put a bunch of shit up there because I was like, absolutely not. It's like the same feeling with crayons.
Oh, I don't mind crayons.
I don't like the wrapper part. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's a weird thing. I know it's a weird thing, but just a little uncomfy.
All right, Mackenzie, what do you have for us today? Well, I was talking to Mom, and she was like, "You really need something like what Mackenzie has for you. You need something for her." So we were trying to think of all things that I'm with Mackenzie, and it was not very easy.
You probably have to, if you do it with Ken's, you probably have a lot easier time. Or Kenzie. It's
Yeah.
the 3 syllables that really
I mean,
throws
even
you
Kenzie
off.
was kind of hard. I mean, there's Frenzy, but I don't really know how to throw that into.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, we'll have to brainstorm. We can ask ChatGPT.
We can ask ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I typically like to give a little background before going into my stories, but this one is best told just from start to finish.
Alrighty.
So,
Wait, let me.
like I
Get
did,
comfy.
you will find things out along the way.
Oh, okay.
On September 19th, 1998, Virginia Tatum was a newspaper carrier waiting for the paper delivery down the street from a Taco Bell. It was the early morning hours and the sun wasn't even up yet. All of a sudden, the quiet morning was interrupted by what sounded like gunshots. It wasn't long after that she saw a car speed by her in the dark, and it was going so fast that it fishtailed, fleeing the scene.
Oh.
Shortly after that, police and first responders were swarming the area around the Taco Bell. Police discovered the body of the night manager, Donna Brown, fatally shot in the face. She was walking to her car with that day's cash receipts when she was attacked by an assailant in a ski mask. The perpetrator had fled with Donna's car and $1,700.
Oh.
It didn't take long for the police to find Donna's car in an abandoned Pizza Hut parking lot. The only thing in the car was a homemade ski mask on the front floorboard.
A homemade ski mask.
Homemade. It was like out of sweatpants.
Okay.
Yeah. Being a small town in Georgia that had never experienced such a horrific crime before, the local authorities quickly called the Georgia Bureau of Investigations to help handle the case, GBI.
Yep. I figured. Mhm.
Okay. Authorities set their sights on someone who was already known to Yadel law enforcement, Devonia Inman. Devonia had a minor possession charge and had previously made threats to his girlfriend and allegedly once pulled a gun on a man.
Okay.
When GBI learned of Devonia's previous run-ins with the law, they began to center their case around Devonia as a possible suspect. Police began interviewing possible witnesses and those close to Devonia. His girlfriend, name not mentioned,
Okay.
had corroborated that Devonia's story when he said he had been with her all night and through the following morning at her place. So they're saying the same things.
Okay.
Witnesses began coming forward, including a Taco Bell employee saying they heard Devonia's voice outside of the scene of the crime, as well as the newspaper carrier saying she saw Devonia later that evening driving Donna's car.
I have questions about the voice. How do you know that it was their voice? That just seems suspicious.
Okay. Based on witness statements and Devonia's past, police arrested and charged him with Donna's murder in December 1998. The prosecution indicted Devonia in early January 1999 and filed its notice of intent to seek the death penalty a year later in 2000.
Oh, wow.
With no physical evidence implicating Devonia, the prosecution's case was circumstantial and relied heavily on their witnesses. The defense claimed that they had witnesses who said another man may be responsible for the murder, but the trial judge would not allow the jurors to hear it. Those witnesses claimed it was Hercules Brown, no relation to Donna,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
who robbed and killed Donna that night. Some even said Brown himself admitted to the crime. The prosecutors claimed that there was not, quote, one scintilla of evidence connecting Brown to the robbery and killing.
Okay.
At the trial, prosecution witnesses Larisha Chapman and Marquita Thomas recanted prior statements that placed Devonia near the Taco Bell that evening or suggested criminal intent. So whatever they said before, they were like, no, it's actually not true.
Interesting.
Both Miss Chapman and Miss Thomas testified that they were pressured by law enforcement to provide their pretrial statements.
Mm.
However, Kwame Spalding, who briefly shared a cell with Devonia, told the court that Devonia confessed to killing Donna Brown. The defense's witnesses indicated that Hercules Brown had planned for months to rob the Taco Bell and admitted to killing Donna. He also worked at the Taco Bell.
Okay.
The court claimed that the witnesses were not reliable enough to testify. So, because their credibility was questioned, they weren't even allowed to be heard.
Oh, wow.
The prosecution repeatedly objected to any mention of Hercules Brown at trial, insisting there was absolutely no evidence linking Hercules Brown to Donna's murder. The evidence from the defense implicating Hercules Brown was never heard by the jury, and Devonia was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Devonia Inman never wavered in proclaiming his innocence. While in prison, Devonia decided to write a letter to the Georgia Innocence Project, pleading for their
Oh.
assistance in helping him clear his name for a crime he says he did not commit. In their own investigation, they discovered that 3 out of the 4 critical state's witnesses against Devonia recanted their testimony. The only one who didn't recant was Virginia Tatum, the newspaper carrier who allegedly saw Devonia driving the car speeding out of the parking lot.
Do we know why 3 of them took back?
Yeah, we're good there.
Okay.
Well, 2 of them already admitted it in trial,
Mhm.
and then we'll get to the third one.
Okay.
Yet she did not come forward with the information until more than a month after the crime occurred and only after learning about a $5,000 reward.
Suspicious.
And a man standing next to her at the time said it was way too dark for her to have identified Devonia
Mhm.
because speeding,
Right.
sun wasn't up yet, wearing a mask.
Right.
Even Devonia's former cellmate admitted that Devonia never said anything about committing a murder. He received assurances from the GBI that the prosecution would explore options to reward him for his cooperation.
Mm.
Not only did the court not hear witness testimonies about Hercules Brown, but an incident report was withheld from the defense. The report showed that Adele PD found Hercules Brown in possession of a loaded gun, crack cocaine, and a homemade mask similar to the one that had been discovered from Donna Brown's car. And this was a few months before the trial, but he hadn't been tried yet.
Okay.
So he was in jail, but he hadn't been tried yet.
Right. Okay. Mhm.
The Adele PD described the mask as a black cloth cap, quote, with eye holes cut out for purposes of a mask to conceal one's face. The recovered evidence was photographed and turned over to the Adele PD, who took statements and charged Brown with possession of crack cocaine and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. He was attempting to commit a robbery. A few years after Devonia's conviction, Brown was involved in an armed robbery of some sort of store that left 2 people dead
Oh.
because he was robbing a store,
Mhm.
just like, yeah. Brown pleaded guilty to those murders and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. When the Georgia Innocence Project took on Devonia's case, they also secured DNA testing on the mask found in Donna Brown's car. Results showed Hercules Brown's DNA was the only DNA on the mouth part of the mask.
Interesting.
Devonia's new counsel filed a motion to grant Devonia a new trial given the new evidence in 2014.
Right.
Cook County Superior Court Judge Buster McConnell ruled that the new DNA evidence implicating Hercules Brown was not enough to entitle Devonia to a new trial. If there is ever an example of deep-seated racism and how unjust our system can be, not only given how he got to prison, but everything that happened afterwards,
Yeah.
most likely, in my opinion, because of the color of his skin,
Uh-huh.
crazy.
That is more than enough to get a new trial.
It gets worse for a little bit, but then it gets better. It gets better. It
Yeah.
gets better. It gets better in the end. It gets so much better.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. The Georgia Supreme Court then denied Devonian's request to appeal Judge McConnell's decision. And then I think he even made it up to the US Supreme Court at some point.
Oh, wow.
All denied. And the letter to the Georgia Innocence Project was not the first thing he did. He
Mhm.
had been fighting this the moment he got to jail. Like,
Wow.
there was no time in between that he wasn't trying to fight this in some sort of fashion, and he was just met with constant
Of
roadblocks.
course he was.
Judge McConnell's decision meant that Devonia would remain wrongfully imprisoned, sentenced to die behind prison bars, and that no jury would ever hear that 1, the key witnesses who implicated Devonia recanted, save the one incentivized and directly contradicted witness. 2, Hercules Brown confessed to people that Brown committed the Taco Bell murder. Or 3, Hercules Brown's DNA, and only his DNA,
Mhm.
was found on the homemade ski mask recovered from the Taco Bell manager's car.
Question, and you can take
That's
this
it.
out if you don't think it's relevant. Hercules and Devon
D-
Devonia
Devonia.
Devonia, they're are they both black?
Yeah.
And Donna is
Good question. I don't know.
so I'm wondering if that changed something too, like what we read about a lot in the state facts, where it's always black men accused of, like, doing something to a white woman, even if they didn't actually do it, because it's a white woman, that's why, you know?
She's white.
Okay,
Yeah, she's white.
okay.
Yeah, and obviously you could tell from the beginning of this story, they did not do much
Right,
investigation. They honed in on one person and they were like, yep.
and that was it.
And now, in my opinion, they did all this because admitting that wrongdoing, everyone can read between the lines. It's very
Oh, yeah,
obvious what happened here.
yeah.
Anyway, in 2018, his legal team filed a habeas corpus petition. And what is habeas corpus? A habeas corpus petition, you ask?
Yes,
Well,
I do.
according to Google, it is a legal action where a person in custody requests a court to determine if their detention is lawful. So,
Hmm,
right, requiring the custodian to, quote, have the body before a judge to justify the confinement. It's a safeguard against arbitrary detention, ensuring that imprisonment is legal and that constitutional rights have not been violated during arrest, trial, or sentencing.
okay,
If successful, the court may order the petitioner's release, a reduction in the sentence, or a new trial.
okay.
So that's what they did.
Mhm, yeah.
Georgia's attorney general sought to dismiss the petition to keep Devonia in prison. So, guy number 2.
Mhm,
According to the Innocence Project website, quote, Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit Chief Judge Christina Cook Graham ruled that Devonia's habeas could proceed. Then the AG tried to appeal her decision.
Attorney General.
Did I say AP?
You said AG.
Okay, good. Yeah, Attorney General.
Okay.
In September 2019, this Georgia Supreme Court denied the AG's attempt to appeal. Additionally, then presiding Justice Namus and then Chief Justice Melton issued extraordinary concurring opinions reminding prosecutors of their power to ensure justice is served and urging the Attorney General himself to personally review Inman's case and determine whether justice was actually served by continuing to oppose Inman's efforts for a new trial. Quote, let justice be done, Justice Namus said. So everybody, he even was on the Supreme Court when they denied him something else that had happened earlier,
Mhm.
and he even said that he regrets that decision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But instead, the AG continued to fight the case for another 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Following a June 2021 contested hearing, Judge Graham granted Inman's habeas corpus petition. She determined that Devonian's constitutional rights were violated, including by the prosecution's failure to disclose evidence suggesting Hercules Brown committed the crime, because they also kept the police report. So,
Mm,
like, even if you have witnesses that you don't find credible, this police report shows a repetition of the crime.
right,
There's another ski max in there. He's trying to rob a place.
right,
I digress.
right. But a lot of times they won't look at someone's past because the past crimes shouldn't be
Well,
used for the current crimes.
if they do that, then they're wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And the lengths people will go to not be wrong
Right.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Each violation, according to Judge Graham, quote, demonstrates the fundamental unfairness of Mr. Iman's trial, undermines the court's confidence in the outcome of the trial and related conviction, and justifies granting habeas corpus relief. The Georgia Attorney General's office declined to appeal that ruling, prompting the local district attorney to dismiss all charges and set Devonia and Iman free.
Mm.
On December 20th, 2021, 23 years after he was in prison for a crime he did not commit,
Oh my God.
Devonia Inman was freed from prison. So this is kind of interesting. Actress and producer Hilary Burton Morgan, who was in One Tree Hill.
Yes, she's married to Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah, she's so lucky. She actually also went to Parkview.
Huh,
Yeah,
look at that.
yeah.
Did not know that.
For people who don't know, that's a high school that was, like,
Near
right
us.
right near us, yeah.
Yeah. So, her
Yeah.
focused on Devonian's story in 2021 with the debut of her true crime story, It Couldn't Happen Here documentary series at Sundance TV and AMC Plus. Quote, as a mother, Devonia's case haunted me, Morgan said in a statement to People. Quote, the dedication of his parents, Dina and Dave Ray, was humbling to witness. The optimism of Devonia's son, now a father himself, was so honorable and heartbreaking. It is imperative that we support the many victims of this gross injustice with continued care. Georgia is one of only 13 states that does not have a statutory compensation law, so Devonian will see no financial release for the decades he lost to a flawed judicial
Oh my
system.
god.
It's infuriating.
What are the other 12 states?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that was a thing in states. I thought
Mhm.
that was like a
Well, you can still sue,
absolutely you should.
but you have to win that.
Wow.
And, like, there's a bunch of hoops you have to
Of course there are.
jump through,
Mhm.
especially in Georgia, to even get that.
Wow.
But in other states, a lot of times they'll do, like, however many years is this you get certain amounts for how many years you were, incarcerated.
Which still isn't fair.
Correct. A donation campaign set up by the GIP had raised more than $10,000 to, quote, help Devonian rebuild his life, and that was in about 2021, 2022.
Mhm. Which again, that's just not enough money.
Right. Quote, the hard part for the legal team ended Monday in 2021,
Mhm.
said Jess Sino, a law professor at Georgia State University. For Devonia, the hard part began Monday. Devonia lost 23 years of his life, and he is going to have to start completely over to get to know his family, grieve those he lost while incarcerated, and adjust to a brand new life. He went to prison in 1998. Life in 2021 is very different.
Yeah, it is.
So, this lady, mic drop. So the GIP executive director, Claire Gilbert, which I'm noticing a pattern in women here,
Yeah.
said in a statement, beautifully, I might add, quote, after Devonia Inman had already lost 21 years to wrongful imprisonment, Georgia's attorney general added insult to injury by continuing to defend the conviction for 2 more years at taxpayer expense. Despite significant evidence supporting Devonia's innocence and direct urging by leading justices of Georgia's Supreme Court to let justice be done. We hope the Attorney General's office will now exercise more discretion and responsibility to swiftly right the wrong and clear cases of innocence and injustice. Yes, girl.
Mhm.
So, not going to talk about something like this without giving you the facts.
Of course.
According to The Hill, Devonian was the last wrongfully convicted person to be released in the United States during 2021.
Wow.
The National Registry of Exonerees reported that in 2021, 133 people had been freed from prison where they had been held for a crime they did not commit.
Jeez.
And something important to note, because I did look this up, there is a difference between being exonerated
Mhm.
and like a mistrial,
Right.
like an overturned conviction.
Yeah.
The results can be an overturned conviction and you can get an exoneration, you can get a new trial. It depends on the circumstances.
Mhm.
So when these people are exonerated, it means that there is evidence that says that they are innocent.
Okay.
So it's not like he got lucky.
Right.
Like there actually has to be actual evidence to show he did not do it because
Right.
he's exonerated and he will not be retried.
Right.
So just want to throw that out there. So every year since 2012, the number of exonerations has exceeded 100.
Wow.
The Hill reported, quote, despite its role in Devonia Inman's case, DNA plays a small, though not insignificant role in the quest to undo those miscarriages of justice,
Absolutely.
accounting for 375 of the 2,993 exonerations that have occurred since 1989.
Wow.
More pervasive are discoveries of new evidence, witnesses who recant their testimony, and revelations about procedural misconduct. So here are the statistics from Equal Justice Initiative. The National Registry of Exonerations has tracked that there have been at least 3,175 plus exonerations since 1989. There have been 375 people exonerated through DNA evidence since 1989. And altogether, exonerated people spent 27,200 plus years in prison for a crime they did not commit.
Wow.
There are many causes for people to be wrongfully convicted. According to the Equal Justice Initiative, which I'll call EGI, more than half of wrongful convictions can be traced to witnesses who lied in court or made false accusations.
Mhm.
In 2018, there was a record-setting number of exonerations involving misconduct by government officials.
Shocking.
Right. Other cases include mistaken eyewitness identifications, false or misleading forensic science, and jailhouse informants. We have all of that.
Yeah.
Many forensic techniques are not scientifically validated. The EGI reported the following as, quote, junk science. Hair micropsy, I don't know. I can't say that word.
I don't know.
My, microscopy,
Microscopy?
something like
I
that.
have no idea what the word
Looking at
is.
hair microscopic levels, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Sorry, I tried to say the word earlier. I couldn't do it. Bike mark comparisons, firearm tool marks analysis, and shoe print comparisons. So that it's considered junk science. It's not scientifically backed that those are valid forensic
Why?
things. It didn't say that.
Interesting.
I'm thinking that those are the things that have not been validated by science in the terms of like how we validate, things to be true. We go through the whole, not experiment process, but
Right.
essentially like,
And I mean, I get it. Like, it's not, none of those things will be able to pinpoint to one person,
right.
except I feel like the bite mark is a pretty significant one
No, apparently it's been
because I thought that was like a big
poo-pooed.
thing with Ted Bundy was bite mark
It
thing.
was.
Yeah.
But recently, I think I heard something where it's like, I guess it's easy because of the way the bite mark is on the person, it's easy for it to be confused, I guess, with somebody
I
else.
mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think those things are the things that like scientists have not done
Okay.
research on to say, yes, this can conclusively,
Okay. Conclusively.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
determine one way or another
It
whether,
can help narrow,
right.
but it can't. Okay.
But
Okay.
it's the problem of using these as the conclusive evidence
I
to
see.
put someone in jail when these are not scientifically validated.
I see.
Does that
I
make
see.
sense?
Yep.
Okay.
It does.
They also said, quote, innocent people have been convicted because of forensic lab workers made errors in testing,
Mm.
testified inaccurately about the results, or fabricated results. They go on to say, quote, counties, states, and the federal government all have different rules and policies about preserving evidence and providing access to testing that could prove an incarcerated person's innocence. Even when incarcerated people manage to get evidence that proves their innocence, police and prosecutors often refuse to re-examine the evidence or reopen the case.
Which is wild.
Right. Police, prosecutors, and judges are not held accountable for misconduct that leads to wrongful convictions, such as fabricating evidence, presenting false testimony, or refusing to consider proof of innocence. In the state of Virginia, you, as a police officer, can lie to a person to get them to tell you something, and it's not illegal.
I did know that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like interrogating them, you can
Yep.
say whatever you want to get them to confess, which should be like coercion,
Right.
or something.
It is. Or what is it? Entrapment?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Immunity laws protect them from liability even in cases of gross misconduct. Prosecutors can't be held liable for falsifying evidence, coercing witnesses, presenting false testimony, withholding evidence, or introducing illegally seized evidence at trial. So according to the Innocence Project, and not the Georgia one, but the overall Innocence Project,
Right.
64% of their clients who have been freed or exonerated are Black and or Latino. 63 of their cases have involved eyewitness misidentification, including cross-racial misidentification,
Oh.
and 53% of their cases have involved the misapplication of forensic science. They include other statistics like the average age when wrongfully convicted is about 27,
Mm-hmm.
and 45 is the average age when they get exonerated. 76 of the Innocent Project's exonerees have not received compensation for their wrongful convictions. 101 additional crimes were committed while an innocent person was imprisoned in the original attacker's place, including 56 sexual assaults, 22 murders, and 23 other violent crimes.
Jeez.
According to the Innocent Project, quote, since 1993, the Innocence Project has received over 65,600 letters from incarcerated individuals seeking help in proving their innocence. The intake team processes the letters chronologically and thoroughly reviews each case request received,
Wow.
which is crazy.
That's a lot of work.
Right? So you can learn more about these causes, statistics of wrongfully convicted individuals, and how you can help by visiting the Innocence Project at innocenceproject.org or the Equal Justice Initiative at egi.org, which will be in our show notes, and we're excited. Those are not the only websites
Right.
that help with that, but those were the big ones that I
The
used
two big ones.
for these statistics and things like that.
And I feel like the more commonly known ones.
Right. In conclusion, For people to trust our justice system, they have to be shown that it works. It is hard for people to believe the laws on their side when the people who are meant to uphold those laws abuse and misuse the laws.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the sad but happy ending, at least for Devonia.
So did they find out? I mean, we kind of know who
They
did
never
it, but
charged.
no one's been convicted for her murder.
It was the Hercules Brown guy. Like,
Right.
there's the evidence to prove
DNA,
it,
everything.
but he was never charged with it. So
Wow.
it's like we know it, and while I do think Devonia's story needed to be known,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at other cases from the Innocence Project, and I was like, yes, it got attention on some podcasts and things like that, but this was the first I ever heard of it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of it before either.
And there's tons of other cases.
Mhm.
I found articles on articles of people, especially from Georgia, trying to receive that compensation, that help
Right.
for what they suffered,
Right.
essentially.
Absolutely.
But I do feel bad that Donna Brown got lost in all of this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, 'cause-
Because, I mean, it all started because of her murder.
right.
You know?
And it's just interesting to me that even in 1998, to us, or at least, okay, let me say, in my opinion, if I was on that jury back in 2000 or whenever the trial was, logic says there is quite literally nothing
Right.
that says this man did it.
Yeah.
And yet he was still convicted.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because they're that dumb and believed it?
Well, one of the big things, too, is everyone's like, I don't want a jury of my peers. My peers are stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
so I know a lot of people who wouldn't want that because, yeah.
Yeah.
And cases like this are a good example of that.
Yeah. Plus, in addition, the judge suppressed evidence that should have never have been suppressed.
Right. Like that, too. That's a big part of it.
Like, his rights were violated because his defense team did not get all the evidence that the prosecution had.
So the jury is a lot of times like they're going off of what they have.
Yeah.
So we have more. So we're like, how could they have convicted him? But we don't know exactly what they were shown.
But all those people that did that,
Yeah.
kept information, denied something included in a trial,
Lied about something.
even the AG that they're talking about now,
Mm-hmm.
he still has his job.
Right.
None of them, no policeman, no nothing, got in trouble for this.
Of course not.
It was just yep, you're right, you didn't do it. Bye.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it sucks because I can't imagine, actually I can't imagine because I was there, 1998 comparatively to 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, we have accelerated so quickly, just technologically speaking.
But that was interesting, like going off of that, where
Yeah.
you're like, usually the age of wrongful conviction is 27
Mhm.
and the overturned conviction is 45.
Yeah.
Well, that's, what is that, like 15, 19 years?
A little less than 20
Less
years.
than 20 years.
Yeah.
But in that amount of time, so much technology comes
much.
about. So that's interesting that, like, they get convicted wrongfully at one point, then new technology comes about, and then, oh my gosh, they're innocent.
That's one person's, birth to 20.
Yeah.
Imagine how much you change in just from being 1 year old to 20
Oh,
years old.
absolutely.
And it's like, even now, things that we did in 2000
Mm-hmm.
or 2005, since that was 20 years ago.
My very first phone when I was in 6th grade was a flip phone that didn't have a camera.
Right. We used to have 85 things with us. It wasn't
Right.
all in one place.
Exactly.
And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And he would have, when he went in, it was not even a blip on the radar.
Yep. Exactly.
I'm sure, I know jails are not cut off completely from the outside world.
I mean,
And I do wonder if because he was working with lawyers and things like that, if maybe he was at least more in the know about things that happened.
I don't know, because from all of my vast knowledge from my Orange is the New Black TV shows,
Of course.
they don't have cell phones in there, and they have very few.
Yes, they do.
Well, okay.
Yes,
they
do.
should not have cell phones in there. So when he first went in, the cell phones weren't as prevalent,
Correct.
So,
I don't even think they were really a thing.
yeah, not really.
Yeah.
So, he had to
But,
like try to learn stuff as secretly as you can.
TV or
Yeah.
information, like if someone comes to visit you and
Yeah.
tells you something going on and then word of mouth.
Yeah, probably.
I can't imagine that he never knew about 9/11 until
Oh,
2021.
I mean, yeah,
You know
things
what I
like
mean?
that.
Yeah. Yeah, like big things like that. Like I'm not talking about like the everyday stuff.
Yeah,
But like
because big things
big-
like that are going to be on the news.
yeah, big national news things. Like people are going to be talking about it. You're going to hear them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this happens to quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it takes forever
Mm-hmm.
to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And I mean, just with how many letters that they've gotten about people who are like, "Hey, I
right?
need help," like, that
And yes,
sucks.
there's always those people who did it and say that they didn't do it.
Absolutely.
100%. And I imagine some of those letters are those people.
Absolutely.
But the fact that they do take the time to actually investigate just in case
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
And very, not heartwarming, but encouraging
Yeah.
that hopefully this happens less often. I mean, we know from our dark history, a lot of the people we talk about did not do the crimes that they were attacked for.
Right.
I can only imagine how many people are still incarcerated for a more racist system.
Mhm.
Not that it's really gotten that much better, but it's made baby steps.
Yeah.
How many of those people, that's why they were arrested,
Oh,
was
absolutely.
because of bias,
Oh, absolutely.
essentially.
And profiling and all
Yeah.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's sad.
It is sad.
But hopefully bringing attention to it will get people talking about it. That's why I get iffy about the death penalty, because I'm like,
That's
what
why I'm
if?
in the gray zone for the death penalty.
What if?
Yep. Yeah.
I could never be on a jury that has to decide that.
Oh, well, that's
I
why
mean,
a
I would
lot of
say no.
times that's why a lot of times juries will be like, "We couldn't decide on the death penalty, so we're doing life in prison instead."
I would say no.
Yeah.
I'm like, to me, that would feel like I'm murdering someone because
Unless
I'm
there
giving
is,
permission to
like,
end his life.
overwhelming proof, like Ted Bundy, like, proof like
Right.
that.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
But, yeah, everything else. And, I mean, I've
Yeah.
talked about that movie before too, where the guy purposely didn't commit a crime but made it look like he did so that he would be given the death penalty so that he could show,
Right.
"Hey, this is how flawed the system is."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a very flawed system.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's still very flawed.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, he's out.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of lovely pictures. He's happy to be with his family.
Oh, I bet.
Obviously, he's very disappointed in how things turned out, and especially with how long it took.
Yeah.
He's a grandfather now.
Oh.
You know, he missed his kid growing up,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah.
So, but as far as I know, he's doing okay. I think his family, they moved out to California
Oh,
or
wow.
something like that.
Yeah, get as far away from Georgia as
Well,
possible.
I saw somewhere that his immediate family stayed in Adele because they're like, we're not going to leave him.
Oh,
And so once he got out, I think they all moved to California.
nice.
So yeah,
Wow.
a little different.
A little different.
Innocent man,
Yeah.
but still a crime was committed.
Yeah.
So there's lots of these.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It sucks.
Well, Georgia.
Ooh.
Woohoo. Well, stay scary.
And stay safe.